Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now here in my hands, my Ruger PC carbine with a couple of awesome products from the company Votatu. Now here you can see I do have a green dot open reflex sight, and then I also have a weapon light laser combination mounted on this. And I can tell you before we even get started, for a budget item, these are awesome. I actually really like these products. So far, these have been and I'm not going to say the best optics that I've really reviewed here, but they're like kind of up there. I enjoy the quality, I enjoy the accuracy, and I enjoy the fact that if you're a beginner and you're looking to get started and you're trying not to break the bank, these will give you a whole heck of a lot of bang for your buck and something that I believe at this point you can rely on. So in today's video, what we're gonna do, I bust these out of the package, get them all mounted up onto my rifle. Then we go out to the field, I get some practical shooting experience using both the open reflex sight and also the laser, getting them all dialed in, and I have to say I think I had a pretty good day of shooting out there. That's part of the reason why, because of the quality of these products. So after the shooting footage, we come back to the studio and I'll give you my final thoughts. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Votatu who did provide these for review. And so now as we get into the Votatu optics, this here is the RMD502 EG. This happens to be the green dot version with a 62 MOA circle. And here the M9L-G mini laser combo with a 550 lumen flashlight. Now these Votatu products are definitely in the budget range. They're not going to break the bank, but what I can tell you after testing is they are very nice. They're nicely made, they're well featured, and they're going to work very well either for a beginner or certainly the seasoned veteran. And in my particular case, I was looking for something that would fit the bill for not just something to get me started, but rather something to supplement the optics that I already have. And these, in my opinion, are going to do a great job. And there's no doubt that in my mind, these are a great way to go for a number of different users. And so far, I have to say, I am impressed at Votatu products. As we get into the unboxing here, generally speaking, everything we need to get started with both the green dot and the laser. The one thing that I will note is that the laser does have a proprietary charging cable, but it's not a big deal and it's a magnetized port. As we take a look at the functionality of the weapon light, very straightforward. There are two buttons. One button is a momentary press on or off, or you could press it firmly and it will turn the light on and keep it on. The second button is the mode button, and that switches between the flashlight, the laser, and a flashlight laser combination. So pretty straightforward and similar to other weapon lights out there in terms of its overall functionality and capabilities. Now for this testing, you'll see I did want to use my Ruger PC carbine. I thought this would be a nice option where these optics are perfect for the rifle or perfect for a shotgun, but you'll notice that I do have an M-LOK front rail, so there are multiple versions of the weapon light, and in this particular case, it does leverage the M-LOK, which would work very well for my needs. There are a number of accessories, and including all the tools that you'll need, and you'll see that as we get this mounted up, it's an extremely tight and flush and just well-fitting option. This laser light is absolutely perfect for my M-LOK rail. It fits extremely well, it's very efficient, and it's perfect where it's not only out of the way of my hands so that I can properly grip the forend, but the reach for the button is very simple and right on my index finger. So even though this doesn't have a separate remote switch, I don't feel like it needs it. Now in terms of mounting the optic, this does come pre-mounted on its own pick rail mount. It comes with the tools that you need for mounting, and it's very straightforward. You'll see that I do have the ability to leverage the buttons right on the side to adjust the brightness. It does not necessarily have an auto dimming feature, but in my opinion, that's not a big deal. But as we get this mounted up, I thought I'd try it a couple of different ways. Now, I originally had it on the fore end, but I didn't like the overall sight picture for my particular needs, so I ended up moving it back onto the receiver, and when I did that, I found it was much more suitable for my needs, so that's how I performed all of my testing. But as you take a look at everything mounted up here, very simple, very straightforward, and extremely clean. Not only do these look good, but I can tell you, I know that these function well after all of my testing. Very simple to get these set up. I do like to get things established in the studio environment, so leveraging a laser bore cartridge and starting to get everything zeroed in while I'm here in a controlled environment. This is a great way to get things started, and I do like that I have the red laser in the cartridge with the green of the optic and the laser in the weapon light. It makes things very easy. Has a nice tactile click. Tool fits very well. Yeah, nice tactile click here. And actually, if you look at the instructions, has some pretty good instructions for adjustment. Oop. So if you're not that familiar with MOA, it will definitely give you some guidance. Getting there. Going counterclockwise, bringing my shot up. My shot's a little bit low here. Now I need to bring my shot to the left. So getting on the windage here, that will be clockwise. Fairly heavy spring inside here, which is probably a good thing. That should help it maintain zero, I would think. And I have to say, so far, I'm actually pretty impressed at the quality. And that's pretty much spot on there. So getting the green dot, that's good. Now for the laser. So turning the light on, selecting the laser mode so that you can see the laser mode. And I'm pretty much going to get it lined up with the green dot of the optic. I could use the red bore laser, but I mean, I don't really have to. And it's pretty far off. So nice that it comes with the supplied tools. And this is very simple to adjust, just getting on the elevation and windage screws and literally adjusting them until they're in line with this green dot. So taking a quick look, you can see here, counterclockwise is up, clockwise is down. And then here on the windage, clockwise is right and counterclockwise is left. Very simple, and I like that it's clearly labeled. So for the windage, literally just dropping the tool, getting on it here, looking through, and my shot needs to come to the right. Oh, snap the tool. So right away, not a big deal, but I did snap the tool. So you're going to want to be a little bit careful. I would suggest going with a more suitable bit. And so now, at this point, I have both the optic and the laser zeroed at about 30 feet. And that's spot on. So, not perfect, but that's a good place to get started. So with that, let's get to the range. First shot was about 5 inches low, so I'm bringing my shot up to, yes, full revolution here. And see what we get. That was pretty nice. Just a little bit high now. Shot down. And I do want to bring it, and it's a little far to the left. I do want to bring it a little bit to the right. So let's go with shot number 3 and number 1. Elevation looks to be pretty darn close to perfect, but I was a little too far to the right. We'll come back to the left a bit. Shot number 4. Let's get that here. they were on. So out at 25 yards, you can see finding my way onto paper, making my first adjustment, bringing it then pretty much in line with the center dot, and then that nice grouping. I mean, that's pretty much in essence, you know, the size of the tip of my thumb. So I'd say this is pretty darn spot on. I mean, you know, if you look at the group, is that entire group a little bit down and a little bit to the right, maybe. So I might just give it a subtle bump, like a little click up and a little click left, but that's good enough for my needs, I'll tell you that. All right, so now round number 2, going for the headshot at 25 yards with the laser. So the laser is capable of beaming out in the bright light right now to 25 yards. And I have this parallel to the barrel, so we'll see how this zeroing works out. I need to aim roughly 1.5 inches lower than my impact point. So let's try this. Oh man, that's actually really good. All right. So that was literally perfect. This seems to be hitting pretty much exactly where I'm aiming. As soon as I can go directly for the target itself, like this hit. So with it being as bright as it is, at 25 yards, I was able to pick up the dot, put it on this dot, which landed these 3 shots, like I was saying, almost 1.5 inches low. Then I felt like I was so close, you know, on this shot here, that I could really start aiming directly at the dot, which then, you know, of course at that point, well, it kind of put me a little bit high, which I'm not surprised about. But that grouping for what I'm trying to do here in the bright light, picking up on that laser, literally in the middle of the day. I mean, look how bright out it is. That's pretty impressive. Imagine if it was darker, and those groupings are freaking awesome. So, you know, again, looking at my thumb, I'm trying to pick up on that laser. Bright light, 25 yards away. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Round 3, top left X, going with the green dot. Now generally I am running this green dot at full brightness. Again at 25 yards, and that grouping right there is pretty nice. You can see, you know, I kind of was dancing between sides, trying to kind of find my way on here. A couple of them a little bit low, and then the last one that I pulled. But again, I mean, all things considered, you know, that's a couple of inches. So that's maybe 2 inch right there. Actually, that dot is 1 inch, so you know, that gives you an indication of what we're looking at there. Handheld, 25 yards,
Not bad. Let's move it back a little bit.
All right. Number 4, top right, X, green dot at 50 yards. Starting to push out now. Light is going down just a little bit, and I should be able to knock the green dot in the optic down just a bit here, so I can see the target a little bit more. But here we go. So 50 yards. So it appears to be just a touch low. I'm not going to adjust the optic. We'll try to get a little grouping here. I feel like that's gotta be, it's pretty darn close there. Stay with it here.
Shots on paper here, 50 yards, number 4. I mean, not as tight as at 25 yards. However, quite a number inside the circle. That's about 3 inches. And a bunch dancing around, and really only one that I completely lost. But all in all, 50 yards, not bad.
Now, all in all, the RMD502 open reflex sight. Awesome. This was great. I was able to get it completely dialed in. It has a huge window, the ability for me to see through so clearly, and then the projection of that laser up onto the screen is mint. It is just crystal clear, no problem, no blooming. I had the ability to dial it up or down depending on my needs, and you'll notice that I did actively dial it in. Now, if there is any criticism, maybe it's the fact that it doesn't auto adjust the brightness. To me, it's not a big deal. I'm not that worried about it for my type of shooting, and especially where this is a reasonable priced optic, not a big deal at all. I also love the fact that it has the shake awake feature, which is great, so it will go to sleep. Preserve on the battery, so that is nice. The other thing worth noting, the side mount battery no problem. That's awesome. So I'm not gonna, disrupt the Optic and have to take it off to change that battery. So all in all, I have to say that went very, very well. And maybe one more thing that I would suggest, I'd just love to have a cover that goes over this. When this is in storage, I like having the cover over the top of my optics. It doesn't get dusty, and even more so, it minimizes the amount that these accidentally turn on when you open and close your storage safe. So just from the battery preservation and not getting dust, I would like to have the cover on this. But again, not a big deal. And the M9L-G laser. All in all, very good. Now, I used pretty much just the laser. I didn't really use the flashlight part of it too much, but at the same time, I didn't really feel as though I needed to test that all too much. I didn't seem to have any problems here. Nothing really loosening up, nothing coming sort of out of sorts. And as I switch through the different modes, you'll see everything still functioning just fine after 100 rounds of testing. Now, as we get a look at the M9L-G in the flashlight operation in the studio environment, as I kick it on, you can clearly see that this has a defined hotspot right in the middle. That's your full output, and then a nice flood off to the side. So that's going to work very well to project off into the distance, create a little bit of disorientation, but at the same time positively identify your target with ease. So from the flashlight perspective, it seems as though for my needs, this will be more than effective. So not a fully comprehensive test, but it's enough to give me impressions. And I love the fact that this is so slim and streamlined on the fore end of this carbine. It just looks good. It's nice. It's low profile. It's contoured. And it's just efficient. I love how it actually ends right at the end where the muzzle is. It's just a good overall look. Now, if I am going to criticize anything, it's the fact that it requires the proprietary charger. To me, that's a little bit of a deficiency. I'd prefer something like a USB Type-C cable. I understand why, but hard to say how that would go. Now, I will give the proprietary charger the pros that if you are going to use something like a power bank or a charger and charging port that you can get into your safe, then at least at that point you can leave the magnet connected to this and then just rip this away if you need it in a pinch. So maybe it's better that it's magnetized, but I think there are the pros and cons and the trade-offs that come with that. But all in all, this is just a beautiful setup. I am pumped. This is literally exactly what it needs to be. But guess what's going to be better than on my 9mm carbine? Well, this setup at this point is going to go on my 12-gauge shotgun. I have an M-LOK front rail. I have the pick over the top. This is going to be such an awesome setup for my home defense shotgun. So I might do a follow-up with that. It's just hard to say. And so all in all, again, thank you so much to the people at Votatu who did provide these for review. For the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is more on my primary gear. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking excursions, all the gear that goes with it. So from sleep systems, shelter systems, knives, axes, backpacks, flashlights, you name it. That's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.